this constant pushing and warring with ourselves, with others, with the world, with the politics, with the parts of you don't like. All of that is because really your ego is scared to freaking death of doing this. Letting go. All right, let's say a prayer. Everyone that's watching right now, please close your eyes. Let's take a big deep breath. Remember, prayer is just a way to focus. Prayer is just a way to take our vibrational field and put it in one place. So that's all we're doing. We ask that for the next segment of time that we spend together, that this time be full of flow, full of joy, full of love, and full of understanding. We ask that this time that we spend together be somehow, in some way, a light in the dark. We ask that this time that we spend together be somehow a way for us to reconnect, remind, and re-energize ourselves back to the source of love, source of grace, and the source of life. We take a big deep breath. And together we say thank you very much, and so it is. Amen. All right, so A Course in Miracles is a pathway. It's a set of principles. It's a way of living your life to move beyond the ego, to move on beyond competition, to move into flow, into real joy, and to really remind yourself of your connection with love, God, grace, source. That's it. But when you do that, everything will change in your life. I promise you, everything will change in your life. You stop competing. You stop pushing. You stop trying. You start creating. You start flowing. You start loving. Your heart opens up. You become a much more effective person in the world, actually. A Course in Miracles has one goal. And that goal is true inner peace. True inner peace. It's moving away from duality into flow. And as you do that, you become much more peaceful, much more happy, much more radiant, and you become a light for others, right? Okay. Very good, Martin. I love all those. All right, so I pulled out a quote that I want to read with you today, and we're just going to break it down. And let me just pull it up right now. Where is it? I'm so good. I put it on the little slide there. Boom. Boom, look at that. Okay, so this is, if you have A Course in Miracles, it's chapter 20. And it is section 6, and it's paragraph 6. Chapter 20, section 6, paragraph 6. Okay? Now remember, before I read this and before we start to break this down, The Course in Miracles talks about everything in our lives, but it doesn't talk about anything in particular. So when we start to break this down, when we start to allow ourselves to look at this, I want you to think about how it applies in the world right now. Right now. Very important. Really important. Okay. I'm going to read it through all the way, and then we'll break it down. What you do not realize is what you fear within your brother and would not see in him is what makes God seem fearful to you. Okay, take a deep breath. Gotta switch our mind a little bit to listen to this. Let this sit in. I'm gonna read it again. What you do not realize is what you fear within your brother and would not see in him is what makes God seem fearful to you. So what do we do in our lives? we separate ourselves. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys. These I accept. These I reject. This is the same as for yourself. For yourself. Remember, A Course in Miracles is trying to teach us to do this. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Allow. 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 That's what it's trying to do. But we, from the egoic mind, we don't want to do that. Because the egoic mind wants what? It's the C word. Control. It wants control. The ego wants control to make sure that they stay wrong and I stay right. Right? 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 But you don't realize that what you fear within your brother and what you would not see in him is what makes you fearful of God. So the people, let's just say this, the people that you are putting over there under the bad guy list, every time you do that, hello, Eric, every time that we do that, we're doing it all the time, all the time. Turn on the news. Good guy, bad guy, always. When we do that, and we make sure that we don't see the light of God, source, grace, love within your brother, it's because you're afraid of God. Now, I know God's a big concept, and we're using the word here. Don't worry about it. I know, because God comes with this whole luggage. It's a lot of luggage with that God word, G-O-D. Take that word out. You're afraid of life. You're afraid of flow. You're afraid of joy. You're afraid of compassion. You're afraid of kindness. You're afraid of all that stuff, right? This is what's the basis of forgiveness, really. And forgiveness is, as the Course would say, the key to happiness. So as you look at your brother, look at your sister, and you keep putting them over there, it's because you are afraid of doing this. Think about that. Doesn't that make sense? Say yes or no in the chat. Doesn't that make sense? Because as long as you keep someone over there, you have control. And you can't, because you need to be the hero. You need to be the hero. I know. And you might know in the illusion, in the world, which is an illusion. I'm not going to get into that. But remember, the one thing the Course is trying to help us with is having true inner peace. The more beings come to this place of having true inner peace and not separating, not blaming, but instead seeing that there is nowhere where love is not, there is nowhere where God is not, there's nowhere where I begin and God ends, there's nowhere where they begin and God ends, there's nowhere where I start and God, it's all the same thing. The more that we do that, guess what? The whole becomes calm. The war becomes over. This constant pushing and warring with ourselves, with others, with the world, with the politics, with the parts of you don't like, all of that is because really your ego is scared to freaking death of doing this. What you do not realize is what you fear within your brother and would not see in him is what makes God seem fearful to you. Think about your enemy. Think about the people you're blaming. You're refusing to see the light. Now, let's talk about something. Hello, Heavenly Dew. This is not to say at all that we're going to let a whole bunch of murderers run around the world in the illusion. That's not what we're saying. If you're very interested in this work, you might want to watch a movie called Dead Man Walking, about the life of Sister Jean Pergine. Do some work. Thank you for the subscribe and thank you for the heart. If you've ever seen the movie Dead Man Walking, then you know what this is all about. So it's not to say that you're going to have like this chaotic world. But we're so afraid of chaos. And the reason we're afraid of chaos is that we want control. The nature of our spirit, of our soul, is kindness. It's compassion. It's all about love. It's all about love. All about peace. It's when the egoic mind gets in there and starts going, I'm going to be better than you, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And metaphorically, this is the story of Adam leaving the Garden of Eden. Hello? How do you stop the arrows seemingly? The word there, Jeremiah, is seemingly. Why is the word? So let me just write that. I'm going to say it. Jeremiah says, how do we stop the arrows seemingly hitting us? What does Jesus do? Oh my God, thank you so much, Martin. That's so great. It's the best movie. It will change your life, I'm telling you. What does Jesus do when he is captured? What does he do? Write it in, and listen, Jesus is one way of light. There are other ways of light. We're using it because in A Course in Miracles, it's Jesus, so it doesn't matter. What does he say? Write it in the chat. Thank you, Martin. Turn the other cheek. Why do you think he tells us to turn the other cheek? Why do you think he tells us to turn the other cheek? Because, as Jeremiah says, it's seemingly hitting us. This is what I say all the time. And it's kind of fun and funny. If Jesus would have been like, when he was captured and he was being tried before he was crucified and the whole schlemiel, if Jesus would have said, I got to get my lawyers. All you apostles need to be my witnesses, and you have to make sure that they know that I'm okay. It would have been a whole other story. And do you think we would know who Jesus is now? No. All of the parables of Jesus, and through all the great religions, through the Mahabharata, through the Torah, all of the great truth paths, all are telling the same story. Turn the other cheek. It means you're not really a body. So if you are in fear of holding on to control, it means that you believe that you're a body. The whole point of the crucifixion is the resurrection. But look at what the ego has done in our history. We focus on the crucifixion, the 12 stations. Those are all real. But, real, whatever. You can believe in the story of Jesus or not. I don't really care. But that's what it's trying to teach us. Turn the other cheek. Doesn't matter. Seeming arrows. So I hope that helps, Jeremiah. So, when you think about all of this, there is a power that you and I all have. A power that is not of this world. That is beyond this world. And that power is what will never leave you, which is always here. And if you take a big deep breath right now, you can start to feel that power. Now, the egoic mind, the world, is going to tell you that that's weakness. No, it's not. The sound of silence. You don't have to be silent. This most powerful place you can be. Most powerful place you can be. Do you understand? That's why when Hamlet's favorite, it's in Hamlet? I forget. Anyway, Shakespeare's famous line, thou doth protest too much. When someone's protesting too much and so loud, you know that they have lost their connection to the true power. True power. Right?